Wisconsin Health Network for Care.
Yes, so our tinnitus program has been here for quite a while, and we have 4 different providers that are trained in the area of tinnitus and tinnitus retraining therapy. We have a lot of experience, and we see people every single day, and we are helping them to get better and move on with their lives and move past this condition.
You can get a personalized plan, education, counseling, or sound therapy, proven methods for relief and success coping with tinnitus. Dr. Marcia Dewey, an audiologist, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
You can find a doctor who's right for you by visiting Freighter.com.
We find the best way to protect and uphold the reputation of our business is to hire good people and then take care of them. We really do love the people that work for us, and we care about what's in their best interest. And what that means to you is this: who do you really want on your job? Someone who's maybe underpaid or doesn't feel appreciated, might not have paid vacations or great work benefits? Our folks have all of these things and more. Vito and I make sure they feel appreciated, because happy people do happy work. There's a culture we're building here at Semper Fi that brings respect back to a very hard job, and that's why we know that our crews are going to do the kind of work that you expect. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 16th. Your top story, more political heavy hitters go head-to-head.
I'm Jessica Ty. All he wants to do is run track, but rulemakers say otherwise.
Scattered showers today, mainly after 2 o'clock, maybe impacting your ride home, a high of 70 degrees. Storms end early tonight, patchy fog late with a low of 54. Back into the mid-70s and pleasant, mostly sunny on Friday and a high of 76. It's 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:01. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, Decision Wisconsin. More debates added to the schedule. Vice President Kamala Harris today agreeing to debate whomever her Republican counterpart is this summer. CBS News is set to moderate the debate. That'll be held either July 23rd or August 13th. Vice President landing in Milwaukee today, making her 4th visit to Wisconsin in 2024.
The White House says the vice president will land at Milwaukee Mitchell around 11 a.m., then will take part in a moderated conversation with comedian, radio show host, and author D.L. Hughley. Harris's visit comes after President Joe Biden's stop in Sturtevant last week, where Microsoft announced a $3.3 billion AI data center that will be constructed in Racine County. Similar to Biden, Harris will leave Milwaukee and fly to Chicago after her talk, where she'll participate in a campaign event. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
No floating down the Milwaukee River during the Republican National Convention this July. U.S. Secret Service informed business owners that the river falls within the RNC security zone, which is subject to extra restrictions. The director of operations for Edelweiss Cruises and Boat Tours tells the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel the company will run cruises in Port Washington during the convention instead.
President Biden's assertion of executive privilege over audio tapes of his interview with special counsel Robert Hur won't stop House Republicans from holding Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. ABC's Stephen Portnoy reports.
Despite the Justice Department's expression of fear that releasing the audio tape might threaten future investigations of White House officials, House Republicans say they're moving forward with a contempt resolution. Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says the prior release of the interview transcript undermines this new executive privilege claim. And Comer says the White House's real concern is that the audio will, quote, reaffirm to the American people that President Biden's mental state is in decline.
Special counsel Robert Hur declined to indict President following his interviews about Biden's handling of classified documents.
The former Kenosha teacher accused of grooming a middle school student posts bail. Christian Enright is charged with 22 counts of disorderly conduct connected to inappropriate Snapchat messages sent to the 14-year-old student. A judge denied a motion by Enright's attorneys to dismiss the charges on Wednesday, saying the state had met its burden of proof. Enright is back in court for a pretrial hearing on June 14th.
3 state legislatures expressing deep concern to the WIAA for not allowing a senior track star to compete due to a residency problem.
The WIAA requires both of the student-athlete's parents to live in the same area in order to compete, and for Josh Awanali, only his father still lives in Ghana, Africa. Campbellsport High School head track coach Derek Toshner tells TMJ4 News.
It's really not in the spirit of what the rule was put in place to do. Obviously, there's a rule in place to prevent the stacking of teams, which I understand, so we just feel like that's not the case here.
The lawmakers said in a statement they hope the WIAA can find a solution that honors the integrity of the sport while also allowing deserving athletes like Josh to shine. Julian Johnson, WTMJ News.
Owenali is appealing the decision. Head coach Derek Toshner will join us coming up at 11:37 today on Wisconsin's Midday News. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Market Update. After a record-setting close, the Dow surging ahead again today. Currently over 40,000 points for the first time I have ever seen. 40,002 right now, up 94 points is the Dow. NASDAQ also up today about 17.5 points at 16,759. S&P 500 up about 9 points today at 5,316. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com, click on the Get Started button today.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. First place Brewers travel to Houston to begin a 3-game series against the Astros Friday night. Milwaukee begins today 1.5 games ahead of the Cubs for first place in the NL Central. Packers' regular season schedule features 5 primetime games, including a Thanksgiving night matchup against the Dolphins at Lambeau Field. And golf's second major of the season is underway, the PGA Championship from Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky. Xander Schauffele, a 3-shot lead. He's 8 under par through 14 holes. Tony Finau, 3 shots off the pace at 5 under par.
Let's go ahead right now and check out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. The big story today is the vice president in town. So if all of a sudden you see a motorcade and streets are starting to close, that's why. I will let you know, however, as we are awaiting her arrival any moment now, I-94 West, close to Highway 100, there is a crash there, so you might run into a couple of problems. Once again, I-94 West, very close to Highway 100. The left shoulder is blocked due to a crash.
Traffic is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Highway 100 and Layton Avenue in Greenfield. 23rd and Lincoln and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee. Great bargains and a great cause. You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
Chance for some scattered PM showers today, likely after the 2 o'clock hour. Storms perhaps tonight, a high of 70 degrees. It'll eventually end. We'll clear out some patchy fog late with a low of 54. Should be a great day on Friday. Mostly sunny, a high of 76. Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 80. Sunday, mostly sunny, a high of 79 degrees. Beautiful stretch of weather upcoming. It's currently 63 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, if you got a birthday party scheduled for September 15th, cancel it. If you had other holiday plans on Thanksgiving in the evening, cancel it. If you were going to go somewhere on September 22nd, forget about it. The Packers are playing.
We'll be focused on the Packers.
I'm loving this. The schedule comes out, and the NFL does a great job of making a big deal out of pretty much anything, and I get sucked into it,
makes
admittedly.
it more fun, yeah.
It does. So you sit around and wait all day. Leaks are coming out. Packers will have 5 primetime games, but a headliner here is a Thanksgiving night matchup. So this is why you do dinner at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right? Everything wraps up.
Then you can just unbutton the pants, let it all hang out, right? And you can sit and watch the game when you're just stuffed so much.
Get that pumpkin pie at halftime. There you go. A rare Thanksgiving night matchup for the Packers. We'll dive into that schedule coming up a little later in the program. Some other big stories we're following here in the 11 o'clock hour.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, the Vice President of the United States is expected on the ground in Milwaukee any moment now. Kamala Harris continues her nationwide economic opportunity tour today. Here in Milwaukee, she's participating in a moderated conversation with comedian, radio show host, and author D.L. Hughley. The focus on African-American voters remains a priority. Harris is also expected to announce a $40 million in awards to 165 housing counseling agencies. The money is designed to assist prospective home buyers through the process. This is the vice president's 4th trip to Wisconsin this year, and it might not be her last. Probably not. She heads to Chicago next.
Meanwhile, in a New York City courtroom, the cross-examination of Michael Cohen continues today. Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, doing his best to undercut Cohen's credibility. Testimony ties together the prosecution's allegations that Trump broke the law by falsifying business records to reimburse Cohen and conceal the payment to Stormy Daniels. More from ABC News legal contributor Kim Whaley.
Clearly, the trying to establish Michael Cohen as someone who's not to be trusted, maybe to get under his skin, get him to sort of break before the jury and demonstrate that angry side that he's shown before in the civil trial when he was testifying. But basically, their job right now is to try to undermine the factual narrative that the government's laid out, not just through Michael Cohen, but through other witnesses, documentary evidence, and even an audio tape, and shed some reasonable doubt on that narrative.
It looks like they're starting to get to Cohen a little bit. He's been a little more animated in court today, according to CNN. Meanwhile, Trump has pleaded not guilty and denies having an affair with Daniels.
Number 3, the Dow crosses 40,000 points for the first time ever. This is fueled by an encouraging inflation report. Markets rallied to new record highs yesterday after the latest consumer price index showed a cool down for the first time in months. People are hoping the Federal Reserve could start cutting interest rates as soon as September. Housing costs remain high, but grocery prices fell for the first time in a year, dropping 0.2% from March. And as we all know, when you go to the grocery store, at this point, we'll take any little adjustment downward that we can get.
Absolutely. Weaker retail sales, that's what the Fed needs to see here to ultimately lower interest rates. That could happen sometime, hopefully, before the end of the year.
And it'll be interesting to see where the Dow actually closes. So crossing 40,000 for the first time ever, but right now sitting at 39,999.
Yeah, just wait a minute, it's going to go up. Wait 10 more seconds, it'll go back down.
Exactly.
So the game will be played throughout the course of the day today. Hey, who wants to have a debate? Very interesting timing for the first presidential debate featuring former President Trump and President Joe Biden, June 27th. I don't ever recall a debate that early. What's the significance of the timing? We'll dive in with ABC's Karen Travers after this.
Your daily appointment for all things Brewers. From every angle, this is Brewers 360.
Look, this is not put the ball in the hands of Giannis at the end of the game. In baseball, it's got to be up and down the lineup.
Every day at 7:45 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
This is the show right now, and the competition's pretty stiff.
Sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Holiday Automotive.
I love where your head is right there, so we can definitely come up with some fun ideas for sure.
Oh, be careful, man. Now, you just
You opened up
Pandora's box here.
Hey, joined former NBA stars and Marquette basketball legends Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener. This is a really cool event. Returning to Milwaukee this summer, it's called Wade versus Diener, Champions for Literacy. You can golf alongside the stars at North Shore Country Club. The event is on June 17th. A lot of fun that day. We had a great event last year, full of food and fun and I would say average golf, but that's okay. It's all for a great cause. Wade and Travis Diener. Join them. Wade versus Diener, Champions for Literacy. There's a tee-off party June 15th at Pilot Project. You can learn more by visiting wadedienergala.giftsmart.com.
Head on in to Fleet Farm to take your lawn and garden to the next level this spring. This week, get Miracle-Gro Garden Soil on sale for only $3.99. Pick up 3 pounds of Scott's Turf Builder Sun and Shade Grass Seed at the lowest price of the season, just $12.99. And stop by our garden center to shop over 100 different types of seed and plant varieties. Find everything you need for your everyday life at Fleet Farm.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost, free tire repair, and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements is we put them on for you. Buy one or a whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin, Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Beautiful day today. However, rain could work its way in through our listening area somewhere after 2 o'clock. It'll be of the pop-up variety. Anything that hits will not last terribly long. There's really nothing on the radar of significance at the moment. A high of 70 degrees, so don't cancel any plans just yet. Patchy fog overnight with a low of 54, back into the mid-70s and sunny for your Friday, part of a beautiful stretch. Weekend looks great. Mid-70s and sun Saturday and Sunday. 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:16. All right, as your summer gets going, Jessica, June 27th, forget about getting the family out, taking the kids for custard. Maybe want to cancel that soccer camp or softball game or whatever. It's debate night.
What about all the fuss? You're going to be inside, right in front of the TV, watching? I don't know.
Debate night, the earliest debate I can ever imagine or remember. June 27th is when Donald Trump and President Joe Biden will square off on CNN. There will not be any fans or partisan members in attendance. ABC's Karen Travers joins us. Karen, the timing of this is very interesting. The earliest debate I can ever remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's very early. It's the earliest we've ever seen a general election debate in history. I mean, both of them are not even their party's nominees at that point. It's before both conventions. But for the Biden campaign, there is a strategy here of trying to get this process moving earlier, to get them on a stage together one-on-one and get people to start seeing the contrast between the two. You know, there's another take, too, of like, look at some of the polls right now where the president is trailing in critical battleground states. I asked him yesterday, I had a chance in the cabinet room to ask him, why debate in June? Why so early? Are you concerned about your position in the polls? And he looked, he smiled, and he just shook his head at me. But, you know, you got to think that there is a big driver of this is to get people now starting to see them together. They want people to start thinking and seeing Donald Trump's words. Late September into October is the normal schedule for debates, and the Biden campaign said that's too late. It's out of step with changes in the structure of our elections, according to their statement yesterday. They feel people are already voting at that point. The early voting stage has started, and they want to get people thinking about it now.
No audience for this first debate coming up in June. I can answer a lot of reasons as to why I think that's a good thing, but I think it surprises a lot of people. What is the benefit of having no audience?
The Biden campaign said yesterday that they feel that the way the debates have been in recent cycles have been structured like a, quote, entertainment spectacle and not a serious exchange of ideas. They don't like the interruptions, kind of the boisterous partisan environment, and that's not a great way to have a substantive policy conversation. And that's what they want. They want this to be about issues. They want this to be about ideas because they feel that they have a lot to talk about there and that's where they can have their guy succeed, as opposed to it turning into this just shouting match between the two with people in the crowd shouting back and all of that. So, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be pretty quiet. The two candidates, two moderators for each debate, no live audience, just squaring off in the studio. And I think when you think about those especially the primary season debates, some of them were in massive basketball arenas or big theaters. Yeah. They got loud. They got rowdy. This is not going to be like that.
Karen, let's talk about who is not going to be at the debate, and that's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Did not take him long to get on X yesterday and say, wait a minute here, what about me? Saying that President Trump and former President Trump and President Biden are colluding to lock America into a head-to-head matchup that 70% say they do not want. Does Kennedy have a point here? Are they trying to squeeze him out? Because his votes, while he's not going to win the election, his votes are still important from those who do support him.
Yeah, and he's saying it's undemocratic to not have him on stage. And I think, excuse me, Biden campaign officials will say, this is a race between Donald Trump and Joe Biden right now. And that's what Americans deserve to see and hear. And that's what will keep it to the issues. The Trump people will say, I think it was former president himself was even saying, we'll get him on there too, because RFK Jr. is so liberal. It will, be challenging to Joe Biden up there. It doesn't look like he's going to be a part of this. So I think they're just kind of trying to move on, even though RFK Jr. might continue to make some noise about this into June.
What does Biden need to do to win a debate in 2024? And then what does Trump need to do?
Both sides right now are confident that they have an upper hand. I mean, the Biden campaign yesterday felt good that they came out, announced this, challenged Trump to the debate, set the terms of it, and Trump quickly agreed to it. And then that was the end of that. Later, Trump came out and said, well, how about a third debate? Let's do it on Fox. And the Biden campaign said, nope, we said two. We made these offers. You accepted, and we're done. So both sides are feeling like they won the initial round of the organizing of the debate. The Trump campaign is confident that the president is going to come in and stumble, that people will see that, he has aged since 2020 in those debates, and that Trump will be able to capitalize on that. The Biden campaign feels that Americans are just not paying attention to Donald Trump. He's not doing a lot of campaign events because he's at his trial in New York City. People are not seeing him talk a lot on cable. He's not on Twitter anymore. And they want this 90 minutes of concentrated time for the president to be able to go after him and remind Americans of what 4 years of Donald Trump were like and what another 4 would be like.
White House correspondent from ABC, Karen Travers. Always a treat, Karen. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Karen.
Have a great day.
Live life to the fullest at the Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. This free, fun, and uplifting day for older adults 55 plus includes speakers, exhibitors, and much more. John McGivern is the keynote speaker, and there will be pickleball, a self-defense class, breakfast, and raffles. The Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium, June 11th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Brookfield Conference Center. Presented by Capri Communities, Southeast Wisconsin's top choice for senior living. Register early at enjoylifesymposium.com.
John Mercure here with Ann Peplinsky, who tells me Sidex Window Siding and Baths turned her nightmare bathroom into a gem.
It looks beautiful. My bathroom was the ugliest bathroom ever. They did a very good job in 2 days, and I still can't believe it.
Sidex, out with the old, in with the new.
It is such a good feeling.
Get in touch with my guys at Sidex, S-I-D-E-X, Sidex, SidexRemodel.com. It's Sidex.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Greg and Jessica with you till 1 o'clock. It's Wisconsin's Midday News for a Thursday. For nearly 2 decades, the Dennis Sullivan schooner docked outside of Discovery World in downtown Milwaukee until it was sold and shipped off to Boston in 2022. But despite the ship's departure, she continues to inspire the next generation of Milwaukee sailors. WTMJ's Adam Roberts has the story.
Pier, Wisconsin at Discovery World was the home for the Dennis Sullivan schooner from the mid-2000s until it was sold to World Ocean School in 2022. While several cruise ships and seagulls still dock at the pier, the Sullivan's over 25-foot-tall mast and 30-plus-foot-long hull are thousands of miles from home. Despite the Sullivan's move to Boston and the U.S. Virgin Islands, the home port painted on her stern still reads Milwaukee. So perhaps it's fitting that when the Sullivan was sold, a clause in the lease requires World Ocean School give Milwaukee area students the opportunity to learn and sail aboard the schooner.
I am Angelo Edwards. I am from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
My name is Peyton Washington. I'm also from Milwaukee.
My name is Leo Madsen, proud resident of West Dallas.
Angelo, Peyton, and Leo are 3 of those lucky sailors, who each have their own unique reason why they were drawn to the water.
My grandfather's a sailor, so he owns boats, and we would go out on his boats a lot.
Everything I do with my life kind of has to do with water. I swim, I've been swimming since before I was 1. I've been swimming for so long, and then I'm a lifeguard, so kind of my whole life revolves around water.
The moment I realized that sailing was going to be a big part of my life was actually my second day of classes here at the Sailing Center.
All 3 say it was a patient and encouraging teacher that pushed them to stick with sailing for the long haul. Someone like Rachel Wetton. She's the Dennis Sullivan's deckhand educator.
I think for me, because I was on board a tall ship as a student at first, that I know what it's like to be there. And I didn't know anything about ships or sailing before I got on a tall ship. But the thing about tall ships is that they are really good teachers on their own, and they're really good at inspiring young people.
The students say leaving their comfort zone and traveling thousands of miles away was intimidating. In fact, Peyton says she originally was not planning to apply for the program at all.
I cannot thank my mom enough for giving me that push to do it, because it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, genuinely. I just would have missed out on so much that I just didn't even know about.
So what are the chances the Sullivan could return to its home port? While World Ocean School CEO Eden Leonard says the Sullivan likely won't permanently return to Milwaukee, she does anticipate the ship will come back on a temporary basis in the future.
It's my personal ambition to ultimately get the boat here, maybe once every 3 years or some sort of cadence when we get our other vessel back in the water, to be able to make sure it actually physically has a presence here.
Until then, the schooner's legacy will live on through the lessons these young sailors bring back with them to southeast Wisconsin.
That boat that I was standing on has been stood on by so many people before me who have done so many great things. And that boat has sailed in the harbor at my hometown. Really, really makes a difference that I'm so connected to the history of a vessel which can bring so many people joy and excitement.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Interesting story, Jessica. I know you've done some work with the vessel as well.
Yeah, I wanted to do a story years ago because I thought so many people just think the ship looks cool. They're like, oh, the ship that was at Discovery World for so long, they'd call it the pirate ship. And so I wanted to get on board and actually tell the stories, like, what is this ship all about? So I love hearing Adam's report, getting an update on it. But you got to think about it. It was so special that we could have this. It was the world's only replica of a 19th century 3-masted Great Lakes schooner. And I asked why. Why is it the only one? And they were really honest with me. They said, you know what? No one else was crazy enough to build something like this. And, I mean, they had professionals who were building it, but they also had volunteers, too. And they built that thing piece by piece. It took them 10 years to build it. So it's kind of like they say that's kind of the dark story about it, is it
Sure.
took so long. They had hundreds of volunteers, but it's really neat. And I talked to the captain at the time back then, and one of the things, part of the mission is to teach young people about the Great Lakes, and I'd love to see that that's still happening.
Very cool stuff. News is next on WTMJ.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Now I can have all the cookouts and get-togethers in my backyard with a little bit of extra shade and relaxation for my guests. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. They always have the best specials going, so make sure to give them a call at 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
The Stony Creek bedroom at Penny Mustard looks exactly like its name.
The Stony Creek reminds me of a bubbling brook, lulling me off to La La Land.
If a majestic forest had a bedroom set, this would be it.
A bedroom in the forest?
Creeks have beds, don't they?
The Stony Creek bedroom, featuring queen panel bed with storage, 10-drawer dresser, mirror, and 3-drawer nightstand, starting at $10,201 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. We're all living longer. That means in all of our families, people are facing Alzheimer's, dementia, and other memory-related issues. Azura specializes in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They're Wisconsin-based, 14 in our state, 4 in our area. I've been in their buildings. They're fantastic. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, empathy and compassion at the core. It's Azura.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last?
Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement.
We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Securities America Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Arbor Point Advisors LLC. Storm Fisher, Arbor Point, and Securities America are separate entities.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Justice Department informing House Republicans President Biden has asserted executive privilege to keep audio recordings of his interview in the special counsel's investigation into his handling of classified documents. House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan criticizing the president's decision.
The recordings are necessary. The transcripts alone are not sufficient evidence.
Ranking member Jerry Nadler calling the request for recordings motivated by politics.
A complete transcript has already been provided to the committee. The only thing that has not been produced is the recording itself, which can be easily manipulated.
Republicans were weighing whether to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt for not handing over the audio recordings. The hush money trial of Donald Trump resumed today. Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, back on the stand facing cross-examination. Stocks soaring on data showing inflation may be cooling a bit. The Dow reaching a milestone, trading about 40,000 points today for the first time. This is ABC News.
Sonic Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31. Milwaukee police investigating a fatal crash near the former Northridge Mall on Brown Deer Road. The crash happened Wednesday afternoon when a car trying to change lanes hit another vehicle. The first car lost control, crashing into multiple items, including a street light, then rolled over before finally crashing into a chain-link fence. The 31-year-old driver of the vehicle died at the scene. The 22-year-old driver of the second vehicle received medical attention but left the scene before police arrived. He was taken into custody late Wednesday night. Charges are pending.
A man who lives near Washington High School finds a body in his backyard after two 17-year-olds were shot there early Wednesday morning. He tells TMJ4 he's fed up with the violence in his neighborhood.
Definitely looking to get out of this neighborhood really quick, because I have kids that live here. I can't have them experiencing this craziness.
The man talked to police about the shooting shortly after it happened. He didn't find the body until he returned home after forgetting his wallet and then finding the 17-year-old.
Decision Wisconsin, get ready for more debates. Vice President Kamala Harris today agreeing to debate whomever her Republican counterpart is this summer. CBS News is set to moderate the debate. That'll be held either July 23rd or August 13th. Vice President is on the ground in Milwaukee, making her fourth visit to the Badger State this year. She's expected to take part in a moderated conversation with comedian, radio show host, and author D.L. Hughley today. Her visit comes after President Biden's stop in Sturtevant last week, where Microsoft announced a $3.3 billion AI data center that'll be constructed in Racine County. WTMJ's Adam Roberts will have details from the VP's visit coming up in the 12 o'clock hour.
November's general election includes a special election. Voters near Green Bay will decide who fills a seat occupied by former 8th District Congressman Mike Gallagher. Attorney Brandon Hunsicker tells the Wisconsin Election Commission that could confuse voters.
There are different rules that apply to primaries and different rules that apply to regular elections, and having both a special election and a regular election on the same ballot is likely to cause confusion.
If a primary election is needed, that would happen on August 13th, the same day as the already scheduled partisan primary.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting and limited WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ish Nala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ish Nala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ish Nala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp, and that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. First place Brewers have a day off, travel day to Houston, where they'll take on the Astros beginning Friday in a 3-game series. Packers' regular season features 5 games scheduled for prime time, including a Thanksgiving night matchup against the Dolphins at Lambeau. And golf's second major of the year is underway from Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky, the PGA Championship. Xander Schauffele currently leading. He's 8 under par through 15, 3 shots ahead of Tony Finau.
Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. The big story right now as we approach the noon hour is the vice president in Milwaukee. We saw her land at General Mitchell International Airport, at about 11:16, and all the cameras on the Hone Bridge are down, and that means the motorcade is making its way. In fact, the event is starting at Discovery World right now. I see the mayor speaking, so we do expect the vice president to speak in a little bit, but once that is done, she will be making her way down to the airport again to fly out to Chicago. So just take note that things are happening on the roads because the vice president is here in Milwaukee.
Scattered showers mainly in the afternoon and late afternoon today, a high of 70 degrees. Storms will end early tonight with a low of 54, some patchy fog early in the morning, then mostly sunny and a high of 76. It's 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 11:37. So we did the story in the 11 o'clock news, and it's starting to gain traction here on a national level. Josh Owinali is a very gifted track and field athlete, and if he is able to run at the state level competition, he will qualify through regionals and sectionals. He's that good, barring the unforeseen. He is good enough to threaten Michael Bennett's all-division record for the 100-meter dash, which is was set in 1998 at 10.33. That is a lightning-fast high school 100-meter dash time, or really any level of 100-meter dash running. So Josh Owinali is a senior at Campbellsport High School, but there's a hiccup here. Josh spent 2 years in Ghana, in Africa, after having his freshman year in Campbellsport, where he competed. Well, his family moved back to Ghana. They're missionaries, so he joined them for his sophomore and junior year, came back for his senior season to get ready for college. He's also a 3.7 student.
Yeah, he's a good student and a good athlete.
And he's living with his aunt and uncle. But the WIAA has ruled him ineligible for state competition, which includes regionals and sectionals, because of a technicality in a rule. And for more on this story and the injustice, which is not uncommon for the WIAA because they look out for themselves and they can't bend their archaic rules or have any level of understanding for how situations could differ. They are very inflexible historically, and that's proving to be the case right now. We welcome in Derek Toshner, who is the Campbellsport track and field head coach. Hi, Derek.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So walk us through the latest here, because we know Josh's mother is flown back. So where do things stand today? Because I know he's also trying to appeal the ruling.
Yeah, as of right now, the WIAA has had some pressure on them to make a good decision here. And so the people in charge called our athletic director yesterday and said if Josh could get a lawyer to speak on his behalf over 3 specific areas that they're looking at, that they would let him run. So we're really excited that this might get overturned after being turned down twice already. He's actually got a shot last minute here, which is very ironic that it's coming down to the wire. Obviously, he's in track, which is a time sport, and my entries for regionals are due tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Oh, wow. But he's got to go as far as getting a lawyer. I mean, it just kind of sounds ridiculous in a way that you have to have both the parents living in the district. His mom is moving back this week. So let's get down to the bottom of this. What was this rule intended to do?
Yeah, the spirit of the rule is so that teams don't get stacked. So we can't go to neighboring schools and say, hey, we have a great program here, and kind of headhunt their top athletes and make a super team to go out and win a bunch of state titles and crush everything. So that's the spirit of the rule. But what's happened here is we have a kid that grew up in our hometown, right? His mom graduated our high school. She's lived here her whole life. They own a house in our hometown, and his dad is a citizen of Ghana, and he had to go back to Ghana for 2 years. They're missionaries there as well. But he's in Ghana and he can't come home right now because of visa rules. So Josh came back over he was here his freshman year, and he came back over his senior year to just kind of get used to U.S. culture again, to go to college, only to find out that he's ineligible. Well, his mom came back home, and the WIAA said, well, yeah, if your mom is coming back home and you can prove that your dad can't come back home and that you guys own a property in the district, then we'll let you run. Well, he turned in all of that information, and they came back and said the information you gave us isn't sufficient. And he's like, well, I don't really know what else to give you. I provided you what you asked. And so that's where we had to get a lawyer involved and, make further proof of the case.
This is classic WIAA, right? And they're taking the page right out of the NCAA handbook, where they don't recognize the situation and that all situations are different. I understand the spirit of the rule, but this in no way violates the spirit of the rule, Derek, and I'm sure that's what you're trying to argue as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see the rule change or rewritten or a different appeal process. It seems like there is an appeal process, but they don't really accept people for appeals. It's just like, oh, there's an appeal process to make you feel good, but we're just going to turn you down anyway. So, yeah, it's just a shame. I think it just needs to be revisited. And it's so cool that Josh has the talent to make this national news, right? There's so many other kids that were hurt by this rule that it was never intended to hurt. And so here we have a all-star athlete that is, has basically run one race and is already getting scholarship offers from universities across the country. And so he's just really bringing attention to this issue.
So you did say he ran one race, but this was not a high school competition, right? He's been rendered ineligible for all high school competition, not just regionals, sectionals, and state. Is that accurate?
Correct. He was able to run JV, and, Wisconsin, Midwest track and field, the first 2 meets of the year for JV, we had 42-degree weather, 25-mile-an-hour headwinds and rain, which was not ideal, right? Then the third meet that he could run at, just the irony of this, the starter forgot to bring the starting gun. I can't believe it, but it was his first officiating race ever, and hopefully not his last. Hopefully he made his mistake one time and done, but they had to start the race with a whistle, which isn't like legal starting. So we had clocked Josh handheld. 2 people had him at 9.9. I had him at 10.06. Another coach had 10.02. At the time, the UW Oshkosh coach was there recruiting Josh as well, and he said that Josh didn't run any slower than 10.20. But the time wasn't official because they started it with a whistle and not a gun. So that was the last meet of the year. And with my background in track and field, I have a lot of contacts in the industry, and so I just reached out to UW Lacrosse. I said, hey, I see you have an open meet. Can I get my athlete into your open meet to compete? And he said, sure, Tosh, bring him over. So he went over to Lacrosse. He didn't really have a qualifying time, so they forced him to run a preliminary to make sure he was fast enough to be in the race. And then he ran a semifinal and final, and that's where he ran 10.30.
Well, it sounds like it's time to update the rule book here, but you have talked to Josh. How is he feeling? Because at the end of the day, this is his life.
Yeah, absolutely. He's such a good kid. He's such a good kid. I see the pressure on him a little bit. He seems to be handling it well. I kind of can't wait till it's over so I can just give him a big hug and just say, hey, man, it's over. Just relax. But he does handle it really well. And he said, if nothing else, if not for me, we need to shed light on this rule to get it changed for kids in the future. So he's just got such a good head on his shoulders. His heart is in the right place. And I just would really love to see him run. I think it's a disservice to the fans, right? Like, if we think of sports, like, fans are there to watch the sports. We want to see the great athletes. Like, who doesn't want to watch a kid run 10.30 or faster at the state championships, right? Like, it would just be amazing if we could all see that. And I think it just would bring a lot of relief if we could get some resolve to this. Even from spending extra money to get noticed. Josh, if he doesn't run at the state championships, in order to get him recognized by more schools, we're going to have to go out to Oregon and run at, the Nike Outdoor Nationals and USA U20s and things like that. And that's going to cost a lot of money. But in the end, hopefully it pays off and Josh can get a scholarship and end up going to school for free somewhere, get his education paid for.
So, Derek, your entries are due by 8 o'clock tomorrow. Mom is back in the United States, so they're all together. Josh's family has provided the WIAA with every bit of information that they've requested. The WIAA is proving to be non-flexible in this negotiation back and forth, really not much of a negotiation. They're making it more difficult on the kid and the family to achieve a goal here, which is classic WIAA. When is your last point of contact with the WIAA today? When will you be checking in?
Yeah, I personally don't have any contact with them, but I just got done texting the lawyer just previous to this call, and it seems like their call is going on early this afternoon, and the decision will be made then.
Hope to have the positive resolution out of this. It's a very interesting story, and certainly Josh's got a bright future ahead of him, but you'd like to see that play out here at the state regional sectional competitions coming up here next week.
Let Josh run.
Right.
Let Josh run.
Right. It's good stuff. Derek, man, I appreciate your time. Let me know if you need help with your 400-meter runners. I'm pretty sure you have that all locked up at this point, but always happy to come up to see an old friend that I used to run against.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us on.
Appreciate it, Derek. Derek, a very talented runner as well at UW La Crosse. We'll stay on top of this story, but the maddening inconsistencies of the WIAA have reared their ugly head once again. Be proud of yourselves. Well done. It's 11:47.
And that's the best thing about Capital's AC Beyondification.
Absolutely.
I agree. Hey, Merle, what you got? What's this? A screenplay?
Let me see this. Captain Capital, Heat and Air Hero.
That's so awesome, Merle.
Hang on. I've been writing a screenplay like this.
For years.
It's an epic, and it's Capital Man, not Captain Capital. Yes, of course he restores your air conditioner to like new condition.
Says here, Captain Capital has a deep clean device.
Aha! Capital Man deep cleans your system with his laser beam hands.
What?
I'm developing a sidekick. He always does the comprehensive safety checks. You wrote yourself in as a sidekick?
As long as it gets across how Capital's AC Beyondification saves the day.
And how you want to do it before summer hits.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying.
Then it's great.
Laura, Seth, I need a moment with Merle, please.
Schedule your AC Beyondification today online at callcapitalcares.com.
Hey, there's a new era of sports betting in Milwaukee. It's at Potawatomi. Have you seen this place yet? The new Potawatomi Sportsbook? It's stunning, absolutely gorgeous, and it ushers in a new era of sports betting right here in Milwaukee. If you've not been through it, allow me to paint the picture here for you. Dozens of self-serve kiosks. They've got a video wall that's like 2,000 feet. It's insane. Seating for over 200. There's a restaurant, a full bar, VIP deck for your outing or get-together that you want to have be a little more private. It's a paradise. It really is unbelievable. They built an incredible radio studio in there as well. We'll be using that this fall during the football season. So get there, check it out. You will love it. It's beautiful. And Vegas style. It's the all-new Potawatomi Sportsbook, ushering a new era of sports betting in Milwaukee.
Annex Wealth Management, investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
With rampant inflation affecting so many families and businesses, this will save you money. WTMJ's John Mercure here every Thursday at the Mine Chef restaurant in Hartford. When you buy one pizza, you get one free. Buy 2 pizzas, get 2 free. Buy 10 pizzas, get 10 free pizzas. There's no limit. Coaches, bring in your soccer, baseball, softball, tennis, track team for free pizza. Your players will also love that world-class game room. It's super affordable, team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your dedicated employees and clients. They'll really appreciate you, and your second pizza is free. Order now, pick up your pizza shortly, or dine in. No cooking, no cleaning. Take a couple home for your family. Wherever you live, it's worth the drive for your free pizza today at the Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. A reminder, the Mine Shaft just lowered their Friday fish fry to $4.99. That's crazy. $4.99. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft. Visit mineshaftrestaurant.com.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Time for our weekly wellness check with Dr. Ben Weston, Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine at the Medical College of Wisconsin and Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County. Hello, Dr. Weston.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. So yesterday you were with County Executive David Crawley and others to help launch the 2024 Healthy County Challenge. Not sure if you biked or rollerbladed to that event yesterday, but kicking off as we get close to the summer months, opportunities to get out and enjoy everything that Wisconsin has to offer, especially Milwaukee County, and be active in doing it.
That's right. So this is our 3rd annual Healthy County Challenge. County Exec Crawley started it 3 years ago, really to get folks out and about in our parks, which is such a great asset in Milwaukee County, encourage physical activity, get people healthier in our community. So he joins other county leaders and gets our residents involved, get fit in all sorts of ways. It's walking, it's hiking. The first one is yoga, golf. There's all sorts of things going on.
Love that. So how do the places where we live, work, and play impact our health?
So a lot of it's about green spaces. When we look at green spaces in our community, and not just access, but proximity to those green spaces, it has a huge impact on things like our heart health, our mental health, immunity, sleep quality, positive birth outcomes, and just overall mortality. And so even as little as a half mile, when people are further than a half mile away from green space, studies show that they have 50% higher levels of stress. They're 40% more likely to have anxiety, 30% more likely to have depression. But here in Milwaukee, we're very lucky. More than 90% of our population lives within just a 10-minute walk. That's about a half mile to a park. So we have a ton of parks here in Milwaukee.
So how much physical activity should we target on each given day? And I know activity is different for some than others. Some it's walking and hiking, some it's a run or maybe something a little more rigorous. But what should we be targeting?
Absolutely. And of course, more is better, but really as little as 20 minutes a day of physical activity, whatever that means for you, can improve your brain health, your heart health, improve your blood pressure, your weight management. It also reduces the risk of a whole list of different cancers. And getting back to green spaces, interestingly, there's evidence that physical activity in a green space in our parks has stronger mental health benefits than doing it in your basement or at the gym or something like that. So get out and get active.
Greg's running around the neighborhood. I'm biking to the beer garden. Dr. Weston, what are you doing?
I'm going to join you at the beer garden. That sounds like a good plan.
There you go.
I'll meet you there.
It's a nice bike ride. I tell you, on the Oak Leaf Trail.
Greg can run over and join us as well.
I would love to.
There you go. That is a long run from where you are, though. How can people, other people who are listening, they're like, okay, you know what, I want to get involved. How can they get involved in the Healthy County Challenge?
Yeah, so there's events all summer long. It's actually through September. The first one's going to be May 22nd, so mark your calendars, 6 to 8 p.m. It's an evening event. It'll be cool. It's yoga at the Mitchell Park Domes. So that one will be fun. But you can either, search for Healthy County Challenge Milwaukee and you'll find it. It's up on the county website. It's also on Facebook, facebook.com/HealthyMKE Challenge. You can see the whole list of events. There's a ton to choose from. So come on out and get active.
Hey, Dr. Weston, there was an article recently in the Associated Press reporting data from the CDC about maternal health. What are its findings?
Yeah, pretty encouraging findings, actually. So this is early data. They're still evaluating, but it shows that from 2022 to last year, 2023, the number of women dying during pregnancy or shortly after childbirth really dropped, in a good way, dropped precipitously. So we saw a 16% decline from 22, a 44% decline from 2021, and a likely cause here is COVID. We're in a much better spot with COVID than we were in 21 and 22. And as we talked about a lot then, COVID is particularly dangerous for pregnant women. It increases the risk of complications and even miscarriage. So as we've seen major strides in the COVID pandemic, we're also seeing major strides in maternal morbidity and mortality.
A lot of good news in this article, but it also noted the racial disparities, that they continue to have an impact on maternal health. What's being done in Milwaukee to address that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we see higher mortality rates among African-American women in particular. And so there's a lot going on in Milwaukee. We're working on improving health in the county from all angles, upstream and downstream. Now, one program that I think is worth highlighting is out of the Medical College of Wisconsin. MCW was recently selected as one of only 10 institutions in the entire country to establish a maternal health research center of excellence. So what this means is that research at MCW, they're going to partner as community-based, partner with community organizations to look at social determinants, housing stability, trust with healthcare providers, access to postpartum care, as ways to really advance maternal health and wellness and overcome the disparity gap that we have related to maternal care in Milwaukee.
Dr. Ben Weston joins us every Thursday on the program here. It's our weekly wellness check with Dr. Ben, Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine at the Medical College of Wisconsin and the Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County. That's a lot to get on a business card, Dr. Weston, but you've earned it. You definitely earned it.
That's right. I look forward to talking to you next week.
That sounds good. Dr. Ben Weston here on WTMJ. It's 11:56. News coming up in a couple.
Miss any of the truth on WTMJ?
I'm representing the bull.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and catch up on moments like this.
Yesterday on mountain, I am a mighty little man. I am a mighty. I love me some Young Sheldon.
Oh my God.
And listen to the truth on WTMJ every Sunday from 7 until 9 with Dr. Ken Harris and Denise Thomas. Right here on 620 WTMJ.
Wait now or wait a little longer. You may have just increased your lifetime income by tens of thousands of dollars. That's how Social Security can work for you. The longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Our team at Drake & Associates can show you the options and help make the right decision for your situation. You spent decades paying in. Optimize what comes out. Drake & Associates can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. Claim your free retirement-ready toolkit that has guides on Social Security. To get our complimentary toolkit, call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Time for another new coat of paint on your house? Get Rhino Shield ceramic coating. You won't have to paint again for 25 years guaranteed. Now until June 21st, get 15% off with 12 months same as cash financing. Visit RhinoShieldWIS.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods has a great reputation for producing custom team apparel. We're total team outfitters and we can handle the biggest jobs. Our success in custom team apparel led us into group and corporate apparel. Plus, we have a full selection of promotional products for employee gifts, special events, you name it. And we've made it easy for our customers to firm up their orders. The group sale web stores that we build for our customers are a simple way of gathering all the information you need. They're easy to work, easy to understand, and with them you'll have access to nearly limitless options. We've seen that most times we're better priced than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer. Plus Nike and Under Armour choices that the other guys can't get. And we offer a huge brand selection from Yeti, North Face, and Carhartt too. This is Brian Burkhardt. For team, group, or corporate custom outfitting and promotional products, it's going to be really hard to beat our prices, selection, and ease of buying for any size budget and every size company. And that's why we always say,
you can't beat Burkhardt.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Younglith with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 16th. Your top story: what do you get when a comedian sits down with a vice president?
I'm Jessica Ty. An opening that was worth the long wait.
Scattered PM showers today. Scattered, the operative word. Nothing really developing as of yet. Storms could be around into the evening hours with a high of 70 degrees. Storms would end early, then patchy fog late, a low of 54. Beautiful Friday on tap. Mostly sunny with a high of 76 inland, 67 near the lake. It's 64 degrees in Milwaukee. At 12:01 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, Decision, Wisconsin. Vice President Kamala Harris making a quick stop in downtown Milwaukee today.
In addition to a moderated conversation with comedian and radio host D.L. Hughley, the vice president today is expected to announce around $300,000 in new funding for Wisconsin housing counseling services. It's a busy day for the vice president, who after the event will be wheels up from Milwaukee Mitchell heading down to a campaign event in Chicago. The visit is Kamala Harris's fourth to the Badger State in 2024 alone. In downtown Milwaukee, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Vice President Harris also agreed to debate whomever her Republican counterpart is this summer. CBS News is set to moderate the debate that'll be held either July 23rd or August 13th.
The Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee is now open for business.
It's official. After years of planning and building, the north end of the Baird Convention Center is now open. We've been working on this, the city has for decades. Wisconsin Center District President Marty Brooks led the ribbon cutting. He tells me the process was a labor of love.
I never thought the grand opening day was going to come. It was always, we got another 4 years, or another 2 years, 1 year, next month.
Now come the conventions, and they'll be here before you know it.
We've got an event moving in Sunday. We have the public open house Saturday.
Outside the brand new north end of the Baird Center, Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
There's an opening night gala tonight. Adina Menzel is the headliner.
The former Kenosha teacher accused of grooming a middle school student has posted bail. Christian Enright is charged with 22 counts of disorderly conduct connected to inappropriate Snapchat messages he allegedly sent to the 14-year-old student. A judge denied a motion by Enright's attorneys to dismiss the charges on Wednesday, saying the state had met its burden of proof. Enright is back in court for a pretrial hearing on June 14th.
An 11-year-old boy is recovering in the hospital this afternoon after someone stole the truck he was in and crashed it. Investigators say 19-year-old Griffin Johnson sped off from police twice on May 9th, eventually crashing the stolen truck into multiple vehicles and traffic signs. The truck then rolled into a ditch and caught fire. Multiple people were hurt. The owner of the stolen truck tells DMJ4 he couldn't believe what happened.
It looked like a crushed beer can. Something has to be done to make these folks more accountable.
Johnson is charged with 7 felonies. He's being held right now on $25,000 bond.
Well, the creator of the Giannis documentary is out with a new project chronicling the most high-profile athlete on the court.
Hardest part about being Caitlin Clark, having to feel like you're always on.
The documentary is Full Court Press, directed by Kristen Lapis. It follows Caitlin Clark and other female college basketball players during an historic season.
I told my production team this every single day, we are capturing history.
Lapis directed Giannis, The Marvelous Journey. She says the access for Full Court Press was unprecedented.
We were allowed in their dorms, in their locker rooms, with their families, you name it.
It's now streaming on ESPN+. John Mercier, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow flirting with 40,000 today. It's over 40 and it's back under 40, kind of fluctuating still, up about 72.5 points currently at 39,980. The NASDAQ up about 15 points at 16,758. S&P 500 also up today, about 7.5 points at 5313. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Sunny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano inviting you to spend New Year's at sea and offering you an amazing deal if you book the Vinny Cruise now. Join my family and me on Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas, a Western Caribbean cruise leaving December 29th. Right now you can save up to $875 per person if you book through my partners, Expedia Cruises Brookfield. It's the only place you can get this deal right now. We'll stop in Mexico, Honduras, Royal Caribbean's private island in the Bahamas, and let's spend some time together. A welcome cocktail party for our group, dinner, a full group excursion on Roatan Island, a day of sloths, monkeys, zip lining, snorkeling, and a delicious local island-style lunch included. Our group from Wisconsin rings in the new year then together at sea. Enjoy Christmas here at home and then let's set sail for the trip of a lifetime. Couples, bring the kids or grandma and grandpa. How about bringing the entire family? Email me for more information from Expedia Cruises Brookfield. Vince@WTMJ.com. That's Vince@WTMJ.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. No game for the Brewers are traveling to Houston today. 3-game series against the Astros begins tomorrow. Milwaukee a game and a half up on the Cubs. for first place in the NL Central Division. And it's round one of the PGA Championship today. Beautiful day at Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky. And Xander Schauffele having quite a day. He's 9 under par through 17, 3 shots better than Tony Finau. Rory McIlroy is 4 under through 15.
Let's go ahead right now and get a check of your roads with the WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. The big story this afternoon and for the next couple of hours is the Vice President in town. She's in Milwaukee today. And all the cameras on the Hone Bridge are out. That's what happens when a motorcade rolls through. So the Vice President making her way to Discovery World. So just a heads up, after being in Milwaukee, she will then go back to Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport where she will fly out. So if you see roads closing around that area, that's the reason why.
Traffic is sponsored by Capri Communities Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. Visit enjoylifesymposium.com. Live life to the fullest at the Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. This free, fun, and uplifting day for older adults 55 plus includes speakers, exhibitors, and much more. June 11th at the Brookfield Conference Center.
Mostly sunny today. We could see a pop-up shower later in the afternoon, a high of 70 degrees overnight. Clearing skies and 54. Might have some lingering fog in the morning. Then it'll burn off. Beautiful day for Friday, 76 degrees and sunny. Inland, about 67 degrees if you're closer to the lake. It's 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Thursday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News. This always happens to us. So we get a Brewers game on Wednesday, and we've got this half-hour show, and usually we end up overloaded with stuff.
There's just too much to talk about.
On Wednesdays, so then it's like, well, can we kick this down the road? Can we move this? Can we use this? Do we not use that?
But then somebody big comes to town, and then we don't use what we wanted to use. But it's a good problem to have, Greg.
It's not a bad problem to have. So we are overflowing with stuff here as we flip to the noon hour. Talked about the markets. Record highs here, approaching 40,000. In fact, it's been over 40,000 today. So pretty good week here for the markets on your Thursday. One of many stories that we're following.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The big story right now, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, is back in Milwaukee. Her plane landed, just about an hour ago now. She's set to speak at Discovery World in downtown Milwaukee in about 30 minutes. WTMJ's Adam Roberts is there now. And Adam, this one's kind of interesting because she's going to have a moderated conversation with comedian, radio show host, and author D.L. Hughley. Have you seen D.L. yet?
I have not, Jessica. In fact, we're just starting to work our way now through the usual lineup of speakers that preclude a vice president or president. We've got the mayor, Cavalier Johnson. Busy stretch for him. He was in Montreal yesterday for a mayor's summit with the mayor there as well as the mayor of Chicago, then was cutting the ribbon at the Baird Center a few blocks away from here, and then he started the festivities here welcoming everyone. But I have not seen Hughley yet. We're in the way back, kind of just scanning for who's here. The Rufus King Marching Band did a rousing performance of Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance to start. So it's a pretty good environment here. Everyone seems to be pretty rowdy.
And what do you know so far about what we expect to hear from the vice president at this particular stop?
So far, it looks like the vice president today expected to announce, as you heard in the news, about $300,000 for housing counseling services for Wisconsin families, part of a roughly $40 million overall package that would be used to help first-time home buyers or repeat home-time buyers struggling to make down payments or find housing funding, make that a little bit easier. So that's expected to be the big reveal. Not too much other than that. It looks like probably the economy, as we have the big backdrop of her economic opportunity for all tour that's ongoing, is in the background, where behind which Kamala and Hughley will be speaking today.
WTMJ's Adam Roberts. Appreciate it, Adam. Thank you.
You bet.
Number 2, former President Donald Trump revealing some insights into his run for the White House. Trump sat down for an exclusive interview with TMJ4's national political correspondent Charles Benson. It's an interesting conversation, a 6-minute conversation, the former president coming on the heels of him agreeing to a pair of debates with President Biden. Trump says he's not only open to debating with the president, but also independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Well, I have no problem with him. I think he's really not doing well in the polls at all. His numbers have gone down a lot lately, but I would have no problem if he got whatever the threshold is. But he's very low, and he seems to be heading in the other direction, in the wrong direction. I would have no problem with it, though. If he qualified, I would have no problem.
It's also unknown who the former president will choose as his running mate. We might not find that out until the RNC in July. Here's what Trump had to say.
That's probably a pretty good chance, I would say. I don't say anything's 100%, but you're getting pretty close. I'll be doing it in Milwaukee. We're going to have a great time. It's a beautiful arena. It's a beautiful space. And we're spending a lot of money, and we're bringing it to the state. And I hope the people, when they vote, are going to remember that, because we're bringing a lot of jobs and a lot of economic development. We're bringing our convention, and we had plenty of options. We're bringing the convention to Milwaukee. It really is an important state for us. Wisconsin has to be won by us. We want to win it. If we win Wisconsin, I think we win the whole thing.
RNC will run July 15th through the 18th.
Important state indeed. And you know why? Forget politics for a minute. It's because we're home of the Packers.
Well, you know that.
The Packers schedule is out now, and Packers fans are making plans to watch the team at home or on the road. The Packers begin the season Friday, September 6th in Brazil against the Eagles. We've been telling you about that for a while now. That was exciting. But here's what else we know now. The home opener comes 1 week later against the Colts. That's on a Sunday afternoon. In total, the Packers are scheduled to play 5 games in primetime, including a Thanksgiving night matchup against the Miami Dolphins at Lambeau. And that's a little controversial. The Thanksgiving night game. Are you liking it or are you not?
No, I'm loving it. So at the 11 o'clock, I think that's okay, but the family's usually kind of getting together. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays where, for whatever reason, it just makes sense to eat dinner at like 3 or 4 o'clock.
Well, and a lot of times people have been in the kitchen for hours. I mean, up early on Thanksgiving, watching the Macy's Day Parade and then getting the turkey ready to go.
Which means
a long effort.
It also means you're about shot by the time 7 o'clock runs around. So things kind of quiet down. Maybe people leave the house or just off doing other things. So then you sort of settled into that night game. It's quiet, maybe it's peaceful, pumpkin pie at halftime. I like it.
I think it's great too, but you have to make sure, you know how you have a big meal at Thanksgiving, a lot of people do, and then you're just so tired?
Right.
Especially if you're having the turkey. So we have to have it be a great game. I like edge of your seat games, so I'll take that because I don't want to fall asleep.
Or just open the doors to the house and let that cool November air in through the windows. Ooh. If I had to make a guess here, I would guess that most Packers fans are making plans to travel to Nashville for Week 3 when the Packers play the Titans. That's September 22nd. That just seems like a hotbed for Packers fans.
That sounds like fun. I'm still thinking about opening up the door, though, and letting the air in on Thanksgiving night. That's some brisk air.
That's going to wake you up, though. That will wake you up. Hey, the Baird Center unveiling today. There's a gala tonight. We've intercepted Joel Brennan from the proceedings. He is with us next, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee, joining us.
It's like playing baseball in the house.
Mom, Dad broke the window.
Without the risk of...
Again.
That. Every Thursday at 8:40, play virtual baseball on Wisconsin's Morning News. Step up to the virtual plate and test your mettle against the best.
Swing and a drive to right.
It's virtual baseball, presented by Siding Unlimited. Only played here on WTMJ.
Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. Hey, they are proudly celebrating their 65th anniversary. Pretty cool. Story goes back to 1959, and their celebration event is all tied to gratitude for generations of Holiday fans all over the place, like me, to say thank you for your business, your loyalty, and trust for over the years. And it's an invitation to you to experience all the stuff that sets Holiday apart. So stop in, check out Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, and find more and discover the difference at Holiday Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. It's Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac. Very easy to find. You can also find them online at holidaygm.com. I was up earlier in the week, as a matter of fact. Stopped into their body and collision center to see all that was new there. And it's amazing. And I couldn't believe the inventory. So many trucks available, SUVs if you're in for that. The used car lot is popping. They've got the inventory, and now they just need you. It's a different experience, a better experience at Holiday in Fond du Lac, Highways 41 and 23. It's worth the trip.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Oh, beautiful day. You might see a pop of rain later this afternoon. Nothing really on the radar. A couple of spots out near Whitewater and Fort Atkinson. These are really spotty, but be mindful. They're building a little bit of steam as they push their way east. But otherwise, sunny conditions today, a high of 70 degrees. Overnight low of 54. Sunny on Friday with a high of 76. 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:18.
Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go.
We might make this his official theme song every Thursday. Joel Brennan, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee, joins us in studio.
I'm going to veto that.
Hello, Joel.
Ego or something like that.
No,
we're not letting you go.
Well, the reason we're playing this song is we have intercepted you from the Baird Center, where this launch event is off and running today, and there'll be a gala or gala, depending how you like to pronounce it, later tonight, with Adina Menzel performing. So is her green room intact? Are there the right color M&Ms? Is the temperature okay?
I think everything looks great. I don't have to perform. All I have to do is show up and actually say nice things about how lovely my wife looks, which she will.
There you go.
At the event tonight. But yeah, being there this morning for the ribbon cutting was special because as my friend and my high school classmate, Jim Cantor, who's the chair of the board at the Wisconsin Center District, was recalling back in 2020, in April of 2020, when we gathered, and I was a representative on the board of the Wisconsin Center District at the time, and we gathered. A couple people were in a room downtown, and the rest of us were working remotely because that was in the first few weeks of COVID when everything was shut down, and we were still working. We were still figuring out how to gather remotely, but we took a vote and authorized that project to move forward, and had a groundbreaking about a little over a year later, and here we are now celebrating the opening of this, which is going to have a huge impact on downtown and the overall Milwaukee community.
It is so exciting. So take us in. You were there as they were cutting the ribbon. What is just spectacular about the Baird Center now?
Oh, I got to tell you, I don't know what's not spectacular. You know, that you have a wall of water that was behind the speakers today. But I think what's spectacular about it, as much as anything, is just the volume of what now we can do here. Not only can we have the bigger conventions come to Milwaukee, but part of the frustration since this convention center opened was you'd have somebody move in, and then it would take 3 or 4 days for them to move out before you get the next convention in. What this allows and affords the opportunity for Milwaukee to do is to not have the building be dark. And so, one decent-sized convention moving in, and then another can move in on top of that. And what that means is more hotel rooms, more restaurants, more activity. We've had great projects in the community here. I'm a big sports fan, and what we did with the Fiserv Forum was great. And most people in town are going to go to the Fiserv Forum more often than they're going to go to the convention center. But the thing about the convention center is the people who come to it are from out of town.
Yes.
And that's net new income, net new revenue generated in Milwaukee for the people who work in hotels, in restaurants, in bars, and everybody who works even in and around the Baird Center. And so, for my money, these are terrific investments, and I think this is going to have a generational impact on our community.
Is there an opportunity to get on the convention radar here? Because we talked about Indianapolis being sort of a convention hub of the Midwest, and they could have 4 or 5 conventions going on at once, and you would never know it. Some people are turned off by the congestion in Chicago and the high costs of doing business. Can Milwaukee make a dent a little bit here in the Midwest?
I think we already have, and I think that there are niche businesses, and we have every year you've got the Northwestern Mutuals who are coming, and we have those bedrocks, and we are getting more of a national reputation. But I think what this has done, even the run up to this, is it elevates Milwaukee in that national conversation. We don't compete all the time with Las Vegas or Orlando or even Chicago, but conventions that go to Pittsburgh or to Kansas City or even some of the times to Indianapolis, I think we're starting to get on the radar there. And you have to have a couple of things. You have to have a great building, which we have had, and now it's even better. You have to have great people here on the ground doing it, and we have Peggy Williams-Smith and the people at Visit Milwaukee and Marty Brooks at the Wisconsin Center District. We have great professionals, and now they've got an even better product to sell inside the convention. The community and the city sells itself when people come here. We talk about that all the time.
Okay, take us behind the scenes, because I'm just picturing you've got the ribbon cutting for the Baird Center. You've got so many high-profile people there, and then you've got Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States at Discovery World. There had to be some of the people there at the Baird Center who were like, okay, wrap this up. I got to get over to Discovery World.
I think they did. I did see some of them, going off. I used to work at Discovery World. I don't get invited when Kamala Harris comes to town there anymore. But that's, but it's still great. And it's Thursday, so we must have either a presidential candidate, a vice president. I mean, this is where Milwaukee and Wisconsin are on the national map and in the national spotlight right now.
Alarmingly high water levels. Talk about a natural segue here. We live in an area where we can see a portion of the Fox River, and I've never been able to see it as vividly as I can from my kitchen as I can in the last several days or so, really, the last several weeks. It's been going up and up and up, and I know that's not only me, right? It's downtown, too. Alarmingly high water levels. What's the concern here?
Well, there's the concern with the inland water, but there's also the concern with the Great Lakes and Lake Michigan. There was just, I think the War Memorial is spending some money to do some shoring up of what they have, but the same article pointed to Discovery World and the Art Museum and Summerfest. You think about just those couple of things. That's $500 million worth of investment that the community has made probably in the last 25 or so years on the lakefront, and it's getting dangerously close for the water to be intruding into some of those places. Parts of Discovery World, I worked there for 10 or 11 years. Parts of Discovery World are actually built below lake level, and there's significant reinforcement there. But the more that water, the challenges that we have with lake levels rising, the more we're going to have to deal with that as a community. And that's not only our lakefront attractions, but it's beach erosion. It's heading towards the south. There are communities to our south in Racine. These are real issues, and we have lake levels that fluctuate significantly naturally, but they're fluctuating on the high more often than not now, and that's a challenge that we're going to have to face as a community.
Yeah, that's a big challenge for sure. And then you talk about the lakes and then the water going into the rivers as well. And I'm thinking about those new bumper boats that you can go out on.
Those look like fun.
Did you see that? I think one segment, all three of us have to jump out there. You can't do a big hit, but you can lightly nudge people.
Yeah, little bumper boats on the Milwaukee River.
But I think aren't we supposed to? Don't we have to have like a license to operate those? One of you better be licensed, and
just can't do it during the
RNC.
Yeah, we just can't do it during the RNC. That's the only rule. I think. I'm pretty sure, right? No kayaking, no bumper boating.
Yeah, they won't allow much of anything. The bumping will be happening, maybe some ideological bumping around, but not on the river.
I think they just look like a blast. You also had a great call this week with the EPA about Milwaukee being named a workforce hub by the White House. Tell us about that.
So, and this, this is another water issue and an opportunity for our community. So, we've all heard about the lead laterals, the water that comes in from the street, and those are lead lined, and still about 70,000 households in the city of Milwaukee, and many more throughout the state. But Milwaukee is kind of the epicenter of that. And we were going along, and we at one point it was going to take 60 years to replace this. This is not the only issue with lead in the community, but it's one of them. The mayor escalated that for it to be about, they wanted to push it up to 20 years. And EPA passed a rule last year that's going to require communities like Milwaukee to do it within about 10 years. And, they didn't just force it on them. There's actually resources out to do there. But the limiting factor with that oftentimes is workforce and the people to be out there doing it. So this call was, part of getting to be part of the community's effort, including labor, including the city of Milwaukee, including the city waterworks and other partners, to ensure that we have the labor force to be able to do that, and including places like Milwaukee Area Technical College, WRTP Big Step, the other partners in the community, so we can have a coordinated effort and ensure that we can make this happen over the next decade, but also that we're creating opportunities for everybody in the community, some people who are sitting on the sidelines now and who haven't been working, so that they have opportunities to do this here and now, but also moving forward.
Joel Brennan is the president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. You don't even have to do much to get ready for the gala tonight. Throw on a tie, you're good to go.
Well, there actually is a tuxedo at home waiting for me.
Oh,
a black tie optional. But my wife did ask, on a Thursday night black tie, how do you do that? There's a little question about what you do there. But I'm sure she'll figure it out. And again, I'm going to finish where I started. She's going to look great, in case she's listening.
Appetizers and cocktails always sound fun. Appreciate it, Joel. We'll check in again next week.
Thanks.
It's 12:27.
A Friday fish fry is a great Wisconsin and family tradition. I recommend the fish fry at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's all you care to eat, and it's one of the best. All other dinners this weekend are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye, the pecan-crusted salmon, any seafood, steak and lobster, prime rib on Saturday, buy one, get one free. Desserts and that huge ice cream drink selection, buy one, get one free. I love it all. After a long week, relax with a hand-muddled old-fashioned. 20 bourbons and 100 wines in one of the 8 elegant dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the historic Holy Hill Shrine. The Spring Drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is a Wisconsin must-see. And you'll love the award-winning all-you-care-to-eat Sunday brunch. Delicious. Step away from your kitchen. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Enjoy a cocktail and a free dinner this weekend. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Hey, Greg Matzik here. Want to tell you about a new era of sports betting in Milwaukee. It's at Potawatomi Sportsbook. If you've not checked it out, I'm telling you, the place is unbelievable. You have to really walk through it to have a great understanding of what it's all about at Potawatomi. It's beautiful. There's a full bar. There's a VIP deck. It's 2 levels. That's right. The Sportsbook has 2 levels. Dozens of self-serve kiosks are available. Beautiful, gorgeous video wall. If you're looking for the game, they will have the game, no matter what it is. Seating for over 200. Check it out for yourself. Walk through the space and get familiar with all that's new at Potawatomi. It really is a new era of sports betting, and it's right here in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Waiting can be difficult, especially when it seems like you've been left to fend for yourself. Jesus' disciples might have felt that way after he ascended, but Jesus promised not to leave them as orphans. Hear how that promise applies to you in a message by guest speaker Dr. Jason Broggie. Waiting, but not alone, this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. So get your summer started off right with amazing Memorial Day savings throughout the store. Like select bags of Miracle Grow potting mix, $14.99. 40-pound bags of Estate Sun to Shade Lawn Seed, $109.99. Rewards members save an extra $10. Get a free $15 Blaine's gift card when you buy select Hills Science Diet pet food. And rewards members get free same-day local delivery on all pet supply orders of $49 or more. See farmandfleet.com for details.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. My home is my happy place. It's happier thanks to CertaPro Painters. They painted the exterior of our house. It was quick. It was easy. You can schedule your free estimate today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated right here. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's CertaPro with a C. Estimates are easy. Estimates are accurate. They clean up. CertaPro Painters are the real deal. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, May 16th. Your top story, the long wait comes to an end for an important construction project.
I'm Jessica Ty. If you like floating down the Milwaukee River, this July might not be a good time to plan a trip.
Scattered showers this afternoon. Storms possible, a high of 70. That'll end early with patchy fog late and a low of 54. Beautiful Friday on tap, mostly sunny. 76 your high inland, 67 closer to the water. 64 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:32 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom. It's a party at the new convention center in Milwaukee today. An opening night gala will be held later this evening at the Baird Center, hours after a large ribbon-cutting ceremony.
After years of planning and building, the north end of the Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee is officially open.
It's amazing to walk in and see it completed. It's overwhelming.
Visit Milwaukee's Peggy Williams-Smith.
Now we can stack conventions so that it makes sense so our hotels stay busy.
And make billions of dollars, you say?
Billions of dollars. That's billions of dollars in economic impact, but it is $1 billion in direct spending as well. Yes.
Outside the brand new north end of the Baird Center, Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
On Saturday, the convention is offering public tours of the new space.
No floating down the Milwaukee River during the Republican National Convention this July. U.S. Secret Service informed business owners that the river falls within the RNC security zone, which is subject to extra restrictions. The director of operations for Edelweiss Cruises and Boat Tours tells the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel the company will run cruises in Port Washington during the convention instead.
Decision, Wisconsin. Vice President Kamala Harris speaking in downtown Milwaukee.
In addition to a moderated conversation with comedian and radio host D.L. Hughley, the vice president today is expected to announce around $300,000 in new funding for Wisconsin housing counseling services. It's a busy day for the vice president, who after the event will be wheels up from Milwaukee Mitchell heading down to a campaign event in Chicago. The visit is Kamala Harris's fourth to the Badger State in 2024 alone. In downtown Milwaukee, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Vice President Harris also agreed to debate whomever her Republican counterpart is this summer. CBS News is scheduled to moderate that debate either July 23rd or August 13th.
A special election is set to replace State Senator Lena Taylor in Wisconsin's 4th District. Back in January, Governor Tony Evers appointed Taylor to become a Milwaukee County judge. Attorney Brandon Hunsicker details the election timeline.
Primary election for the special state senate would be July 2nd. The state certification of that primary would be July 11th. The special election would occur on July 30th, and the state certification would occur on August 17th.
A primary will not be necessary if fewer than 2 candidates from each party submit paperwork to run.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
Being present and in the moment for family activities was impossible because Will Burt was so focused on the constant pain in his leg.
My wife likes to take walks. I always kind of dreaded going on walks because they hurt. The boys both play baseball. I coach their teams. I was going to do them and be in pain and be uncomfortable and kind of sacrifice my own health.
An old Achilles injury left Will coping with agonizing pain until he discovered the natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids. The procedure took place in the office, and Will walked right out.
I feel great. There's no pain. There's no tenderness.
Patients like Will are feeling amazing and living their best lives.
Ironically, just got off the golf course today, so I think that's a good telltale sign that the Achilles is feeling better.
Don't be in pain another day. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Is it true the Hasselus mattress showrooms don't have any employees?
That's right. Try and buy with no pushy sales guy.
Okay.
Once you find the perfect beauty rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper, you can order by phone, online, or at our handy in-store kiosk.
Well, that's great, but
since we don't have to pay employee commissions, you will pay way less. Our 43 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
Okay, but
through Monday, buy your new Serta Perfect Sleeper, Beauty Rest, or Sealy Posturepedic mattress, and we'll give you a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base. Free next day delivery, too. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, except for one.
Shoot.
If Hasselus Mattress has no employees,
yeah,
then who are you?
I'm just the ruggedly handsome spokesperson.
But this is radio.
Exactly. I'm told I have a face for it.
Right.
Find a self-service showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call. That's all sports desk. Brewers off today. They begin the day a game and a half up on the Cubs for first place in the NL Central Division. 3-game series with the Astros begins Friday night in Houston. And golf's second major of the year is underway. Xander Schauffele with early lead at the PGA Championship, 9 under par. He cards a 62 today, 3 shots better than Tony Finau.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. The big story in the Milwaukee area right now is Vice President Kamala Harris in town. She's at Discovery World. So she's there now, so you have some road openings. However, giving you a heads up, Around 2:30 this afternoon, she will depart. She's going to be heading to Chicago, but she's going back to Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport where she will fly out. So we will see the motorcade going back from Discovery World to the airport, and that will cause closures as well. So just a heads up for you this afternoon.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
Well, mostly sunny today, a high of 70. Some rain could move in, just spotty showers out west, and they could make their way into our listening area before too long. Very much spotty in nature, some potentially a little strong as well. Low of 54 overnight. Tomorrow, beauty. 76 degrees inland, 68 near the lake under mostly sunny skies. 65 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:38.
Sunday, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee will award degrees to 3,300 students. Among them is a 72-year-old, a woman who was born when a dozen eggs cost just 24 cents, a woman who was born when I Love Lucy premiered on television, a woman who was born when Harry Truman was president. That's right, Joanne Potter, who was born in 1951, is finally getting her bachelor's degree. She has an awesome story to tell, and she joins us live in the studio today. An early congratulations, Joanne.
Thanks, Jessica.
So you started college at UWM back in 1969.
That's right.
What happened then? Because you didn't continue.
No, and I wasn't ready. You know, I was like a lot of urban students today. You get started in college, it's not what you expect, you're not ready, and I just didn't finish.
So in January 2022, 53 years after you tried college once, you decided, you know what? I'm going back to school.
I did.
Why?
Because I regretted it. I mean, I had 3 careers in the intervening years, and every one of them was made more difficult because I didn't have a college degree. And I did fine, everything was great, but I loved being at school, and it's like I need to finish. It's one of those. It's kind of a bucket list thing.
So, what is your degree in?
Philosophy.
Officially? In philosophy. So, what do you do with that? So, will you take this degree and apply it in any way? Right, that's the thought. You graduate with a degree, you apply it in some way, shape, or form, and then maybe you reverse course and go on a different career path. But where's it going to take you?
Well, obviously, I'm not looking for another career.
Sure.
But the degree itself came from kind of a back door. I'm a person of faith, and increasingly over the years, the church couldn't answer. I wasn't able to answer a lot of the questions that I had. I felt like I was in a box trying to kick myself out, and it wasn't working. So I said, I need to look at this from the outside in, and the natural place to do that was philosophy, and it worked out exactly the way I'd hoped. As a matter of fact, even better than I'd hoped.
That is so special. I have to ask this, though. What was it like going to class with a bunch of 20-year-olds?
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I remembered when I was in college, and we used to say, don't trust anyone over 30, and we meant it. We treated older people pretty shabbily.
I didn't know that saying until you told me that. Don't trust people over 30.
Oh, my gosh. It was terrible. We were hippies, and we were going to change the world, which needed changing, and to some extent were successful. But this crop of kids is way different in a lot of different ways. That when I first went back to campus, I was walking around going, darn, it feels like it used to. Like there's something happening, like there's something surging up. And, well, we've all seen it now, the encampment and all the things that have gone on. The kids have the same kind of understanding that the world needs changing, but they're doing it completely different because we wanted to tear the world down. And the world was already torn down when they came to college. Between the pandemic and economic insecurity and all, the things that are going on overseas, and their world was completely different than ours. And their solution isn't to tear things down, it's to build them up. They find that their way of changing things is going to be through community and through building. And in the process of that, they're interested in talking to anybody who's going to listen. So as long as I allowed myself to enter into the conversation with them and allowed myself to be one of them, they adopted me, and they gave me not only what I was looking for, more than I was looking for, but I was able to share with them what I had, and it was great. It was absolutely terrific.
Well, it's such a big part of the college experience. Whenever you do it, whether you're 19, 29, 39, 72, to feel part of that campus community. I think everybody wants to feel connected. There are quote-unquote commuter schools where you kind of buzz in, do your classwork, and get out. And it can be that way at UW-Milwaukee at times, but there is that sense of campus community.
Absolutely.
Did you find yourself running off to lunch or getting invited to a house party?
Oh, yeah. We did all those things, and, coffee and study and all the things, just sitting around talking. And of course, philosophy students love to talk.
Sure.
So that was part of it. But I really felt like they adopted me, and they gave me full credit for the 50 plus years that separated us. But at the same time, shared with me what they had, and I learned a great deal about them. And unfortunately, when I speak to my contemporaries, sometimes they don't have a very good opinion of the young generations, especially the Gen Z kids who are coming up, but they don't know them, and I got to.
I think it's so great to hear your perspective. You told me you thought you'd be tolerated by the kids at the age of 72, but your experience, as you've mentioned, just completely different. What do you think you brought at 72 to the classroom, to the experience, to the other students?
That's hard to say. Everybody seemed to want to have me around, but I never quite figured out why, because they were the ones with the youth and the exuberance and the ideas and all the things that they brought, and I just listened. I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that.
You have an answer to this, though. What's next? What's next for you?
Well, it's changed a little bit. At first, I had this great idea with a philosophy degree that I've always had a mind to puzzle through questions, and I thought, I'm going to start in my community. I live in Rochester. I'm going to start a salon like they used to have in the Enlightenment times, and invite people to my house, and we're going to talk about great questions, and it's going to be terrific. Okay, we're going to do all this. And there is a certain amount of interest in that, but as I talked to the kids, I realized that I want to help them do what it is that they're going to do. I think as a generation, we've kind of been a little lax. We've held on so hard to all of the positions of authority that we've taken up, and we haven't trained and passed those on. And I'm thinking, I want to do something to help them do what it is they're going to have to do to make this a better world. And as I talked to them, the thing that kept coming up is they said, oh my gosh, I wish I'd learned how to cook.
Oh.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And other things they can do. But that's the one thing that they feel that they've missed, and there's nobody lining up to help them. And all the residence halls have kitchens in the lower levels. And I'd like to figure out a way to let the university come in and do cooking seminars for the kids and give them an opportunity, something to start with. And of course, people talk while they cook. So
there you go. So
there
you'll
you
have
go.
the best of both worlds.
Just
Well, that's
rewrote it.
awesome. Thank you so much, Joanne. I appreciate you showing us the experience that you had and sharing what you learned from the young kids, because you're right. A lot of times people have a different spin on things.
Well, and a lot of it came because I was willing to go in and take it for credit. There's a lot of senior auditors, and those are wonderful, and they're also welcomed. But it's different. When you're in there and you've got skin in the game and you're doing the homework and taking the tests and writing the papers, that, I think, is what bridges the gap.
Joanne Potter is graduating from UW-Milwaukee at the age of 72. I hope you have a little graduation party planned, right? Is there a
Oh, my
taco
gosh.
dip
We had a big blowout last week.
There you go. Yeah, all right. That's what we like to hear. You earned it. You deserved it.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for coming in today.
Take good care.
You do the same. It's 12:47 on WTMJ.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Since 1958, Geist Garage Doors has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Greg Matzik here. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. You just make a simple call to Geist or stop by their showroom in Brookfield. It's right off Barker Road. I was in there about a month and a half ago. I could not believe how many doors and openers they had in stock, ready to go. That could mean a very quick turnaround time for you. And if you need a custom design, they got you covered there as well. In fact, I saw a bunch of guys. They were sanding down a wood garage door, getting it ready for stain. That's the kind of expert care they take at Geist. Geist Garage Doors in Brookfield. You know them. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, you visit geistdoors.com. And don't think twice. Call Geist.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now at 800-230-5174.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family priced. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
Sunny day primarily, some spotty rain working its way toward southeastern Wisconsin. Very scattered, however. If you get wet, it will not last long, I'll tell you that much. 70 degrees your high today, 54 your overnight low, mid-70s and mostly sunny for your Friday. 68 the high near the lake. It's 65 degrees in Milwaukee at 12:50. .51 on WTMJ. Greg and Jessica with you for another 5 minutes or so, spanning the state, coming in just a couple here. So it was watching Top Chef last night, another night of Top Chef. And our guy Dan is still in the mix.
I think he's getting better and better as the season goes on. I mean, there was one little blip a couple of episodes ago, but he's just been rocking it lately.
So I've been fascinated with how they've been teasing out of an episode of Top Chef, which gives you a little insight as to what you could expect the following episode. So last week, they had all the judges standing in basically a cranberry marsh. It was a bog. They were just standing in it, and all the contestants came in. It's like, oh boy, what are we doing here? So they did a quick fire challenge that involved cranberries, and that ultimately spun into the elimination challenge, which all the chef contestants were asked to make something indigenous, right? Something Native American. They couldn't use eggs, they couldn't use dairy, they couldn't use flour. So it was very interesting to see how creative they were in coming up with elevated dishes that used mushrooms and sunflowers and it did really different and interesting ingredients.
Well, and that was something that Dan did. He used sunflowers and actually kind of took a knife, and that was part of Kennedy's disease came up in that as well, because he actually had a hard time cutting the sunflowers. He said his fingers, were kind of hurting him. It wasn't so easy, but it was very neat. The other thing I really liked about this episode is the chefs got a chance to sit down and have a Native American-inspired dinner. So they were learning, along with much of the audience, as to what is important to the Native American community and what came from their land and how do they use it. So it was really educational as well.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating. So they had, members of the Potawatomi tribe were part of the show last night. No real recognizable judges or guests, for lack of a better term. Some beautiful shots of Milwaukee, as you might expect. But Dan is the quintessential Milwaukee guy, and I thought it was interesting. One of the judges that sampled all of the Chef Teston's food used to work at one of Dan's restaurants.
Yes.
Which was very interesting. So he walks in, they got the smile on the face like, hey, buddy, how you doing?
And the other thing I liked about that was when Dan's dish came out, that particular man, he knew it was Dan's right away. He looked at it and he said, oh, I know whose dish this is, because he knows Dan's way of cooking so well that he was like, you don't even have to tell me. That's Dan's.
I do wonder if some of the contestants still in the mix are starting to look at Dan as like, hey, wait a minute now. Like the Milwaukee, the local thing was kind of cool, but now you're starting to do really well, and you seem to know everybody who's coming in. So I don't know if they're kind of looking at that with a side eye or what.
Well, we don't want to spoil it, so maybe we shouldn't tell you this week who won. But we did tell you that Dan is still in it, and we're still cheering for our Milwaukee guy.
Yes, no doubt. So a fish boil, that's going to be the big thing for next week.
Okay.
Fish boil.
And we do, right before we go, we want to break in and just let you listen for a moment, because the Vice President of the United States is here in Milwaukee. Kamala Harris is speaking right now at Discovery World. Let's listen in.
Right. Yep. And she was not only a small business owner and leader, but she was a civic leader. She was a matriarch of the community. She counseled young parents. She hired locally. She mentored. And that's who our small business leaders are. And so when I think about it, it is about investing in America's prosperity and a broad-based economy, but it's also about investing in communities and the civic fabric of communities that contributes to the economic health and well-being. And that's where my passion comes from and why I do this part of the work that I do.
Hearing you talk, one of the things that I consistently hear you say is information.
Yeah.
And one of the things people of color would deny was information.
Yes.
We don't want you to know anything. Do it.
And there's so much misinformation.
And because I remember when we grew up, all the men I knew would have newspapers everywhere.
Yeah.
They would read it. Like it was in your cupboards and you wrapped your glasses in it. Information was everywhere. Like you could get a good whooping for messing with the paper before your daddy finished it. You can mess with them funny papers. Don't do nothing else.
Right.
Information was important to us.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
true.
that there are people who want to deny us access to information because of the power it unleashes. Some of these things have existed, but just even highlighting them in a way that makes it more accessible to people, that make it more reasonable, more attainable to people. And so having a conversation that not only talks about what you have done, but the pathway to showing people what is available to them just from accessing things. And I think that's an important approach.